Welcome to Stop the Fight, episode 28. And today we are talking about this weekend's action in England. Let's go!
Don't brag about taking my side piece! Don't brag about taking my side piece, though!
I broke my back. Back is broken. Spinal.
He's strong man, good boy, you know, just...
Okay. Before we talk about England, and we're going to talk about England, let's just a few more thoughts, and I promise, guys, it's probably going to be the last of the thoughts on the Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley fight. I know they're saying that, Tyron's saying that Mayweather thought he won. Guy, you didn't win the fight. Tyron, please. You won 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds, and yes, that should have been a knockdown. But that's it. You did not win 4 rounds. You did not. 3 rounds is giving you the benefit of the doubt. Realistically, it's probably more like 2 and could be as low as only the 4th round. Tyron, please. Yes, it should have been a knockdown. No, it will not have mattered. You need to throw punches to win a fight, dude. You need to throw punches. And there is no need for a rematch. I'm hearing some people online, some people that I like Dwyer and stuff, saying that, oh, well, Jake Paul should rematch. Jake Paul is not trying to be a boxer. Come on, guys. He's not trying to be a boxer. He's trying to be an entertainer who is taking boxing to its logical prize-fighting conclusion. He's here to make money and get, eyes on the screen, get people in the audience, and he's getting that done. He's not going to fight Canelo. I mean, maybe he will, but but he's not taking on he's not going to take on the people that are going to make him a better boxer in the long run. He's not going to fight someone in the top 30 or top 40 or whatever. That's not happening. So, guys, forget about it, please. He doesn't need him. He is here just for entertainment purposes, and he's learning how to box a little bit along the way. No rematch for Tyron. I don't think it's happening. Now, having said all that, let's move to the actual boxing this weekend. So there are 2 fights I want to talk about. I guess the 2 main fights. First, let's start with the rematch between Mauricio Lara and Josh Warrington. Now, if you guys don't know, Josh Warrington was upset in the first fight. He was favored coming in to win, pretty significant. I think, if I remember correctly, Mauricio Lara was like a plus 700. So whoever put on Mauricio Lara won 7 times their money. That's how big of a favorite Warrington was. Now, in this fight, guys, this is all wrong for Warrington. When a puncher such as Lara is able to break you down once, many times he's able to break you down twice. Warrington has a problem, a fundamental problem, and that is Warrington has no power. Warrington is 30-1. He was undefeated going to the fight with 7 knockouts, and his lone defeat last fight was by way of knockout. Mauricio Lara now knows he does not have to fear Warrington at all. He knows he can walk him down. He was able to do it in 9 rounds last time, scoring 2 knockdowns along the way. He'll do it again. Guys, I do not think that... What can Warrington do different this time around? What can the 30-year-old do? And Warrington is a good fighter. He really is. Like I said, he beat Kid Galahad. We were just talking about it. He beat Carl Frampton. He beat Lee Shelby. He beat Kiko Martinez. He is a good fighter. He may be a very good fighter. But there comes a point where styles really do make fights, where you not having any knockout power is going to play a big role. It really is, guys. And I just do not know what can be done differently for Mauricio Lara here. I mean, can he box better? He boxed pretty well. I mean, sure, he can box even better, but what is that? What is that like? What does that mean? How does that look? As good of a boxer as he is, he was twice knocked down. Lara now knows he can just keep walking forward and stop him. He did it once before. He'll do it again. He was able to hurt him early. He was able to hurt him late. Well, I guess mid. These kind of things, they leave a lasting impact. I expect a very similar result I believe he's going to, Lara's going to walk Warrington down yet again. And now I can't see the fight on DraftKings, but Lara is now down to a plus 128. I believe that if you can, like, I don't know why the hell it's not up here, but if you can get Lara at plus 128, I think you can safely take this fight. Again, he's going to be even more confident. And here's another thing. Again, this is always a dynamic in fights. Always a dynamic in fights. Guys, Lara is 23 years old, Mauricio Lara. 23. He's only getting better. He's only getting better. People say, oh, he's got 2 losses. Yes, one of them was his first fight. That doesn't matter. And another one was 3 years ago. He was KO'd in the first round. Very obviously, this guy can walk through Warrington, and I fully expect him to do so. It's unfortunate, but in boxing, if you do not have enough pop to keep your opponent off you, to keep them honest, as they say, then that opponent will just walk you down. They'll take your punches. They'll take 3 of your punches to land one of theirs. They'll like 4. They'll like 5. It doesn't matter. In a way, speaking of Jake Paul, it was a little bit like in the Jake Paul fight, where Jake Paul knew that he couldn't take any punches from a Tyron, because Tyron knew how to punch. He was a stronger puncher. In this case, Mauricio Lara knows he can stop, and Warrington knows he has to box the night of his life. But I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can do it. Sometimes you want to go back, and I'm going to mention Kovalev again because, like I said, he's one of my favorite fighters. And when he was knocked out by Alvarez, it all kind of happened in that blink of a round. Outside of that one round, I think Kovalev won pretty much every other round he fought against Alvarez. This was not the case with Warrington. Warrington was always vulnerable to Lara in the first fight. And if Lara was able to find that home twice, he's going to be able to find that home, get 2 knockdowns. He's going to be able to do it again. He's only getting better and stronger, guys. People get better as they go out of their early 20s into their mid and late 20s. They just do. They don't really get better in their 30s, but they absolutely get better in their 20s. And here you have a kid who is now, on the right side of 25, fighting on someone who's on the wrong side of 30. So, like I said, if the pick is, if you can get even money or better on Mauricio Lara, I think that's an easy bet to make. And again, this is also one of these things where I just don't bet on British fighters until they can prove it against a non-local opponent. Beating the Framptons, the Shelbys, the Galahads, all local fighters. Yes, Kiko Martinez was a good win, but Kiko Martinez is, first of all, there was a majority decision win. And second of all, I thought he did win the fight. I seen the fight. I thought he did win the fight. But it was a close fight. And second of all, again, Lee Shelby, Carl Frampton, Kid Galahad, they're all good fighters. But I want to see against a real international fighter. And until then, in every big fight, I always take the non-British Isles fighter. I just do. I'm sorry, guys. I just do. I don't know what it is about British fighters and their first foray onto the world stage ending in disaster. I just seen it happen too many times. Too many times. So I've been burned too many times. I can't. At this point, I know it sounds ridiculous. But another thing is I'm really... it's not that I don't like feather-fisted fighters. I like them just fine. It's just I feel that they have to box significantly... They have to stay perfect for so long in the fight. And when you get to 12-round fights against other punchers, I believe that it's such a tall task for fighters who are completely feather-fisted. You have to have some ability to get people's respect. You have to have some. And when you look at Lomachenko, who's not really a puncher, he's got enough pop to really make the lightweights honest. Even though he's small in them, he's got enough to make them think twice. They can't just run at him. Lara's going to just walk down Warrington. He's just going to keep going forward. Warrington can't stop him. Paulie Malignaggi had this exact same problem. He couldn't do anything to Hatton. He just couldn't. Sean Porter, he just can't. You have to box with him. And if the other guy doesn't want to box with you, he's going to keep walking you down. So Again, I believe, we've already, and again, if this was maybe undefeated Warrington, I would say, well, look, I guess, he's proven so far he can do it. He can stay perfect, more or less. But against Lara, we just seen what was going to happen. I just don't see how this plays differently. Like I said, this is different than the Kovalev Alvarez situation, where Kovalev was winning every round except for the one time he got caught. Warrington has shown to us that he can get caught numerous times by Lara and across the long fight. So, guys, if you can get it, again, not financial advice, guys, please, not financial advice, please, please. You are grown people. You make your own bets. We all make our own bets. You are alone in the betting room or on the phone or wherever it is that you bet at the kiosk. You die alone, you make your own bets. This is not financial advice. Please. I'm taking Mauricio Lara by knockout. Absolutely. Okay. Now, what else do we have? Now, this is, okay, we got the women's. We have Katie Taylor versus Jennifer Hahn. Now, I've said for a few fights, I think really since the Delphine fight, that it's not that I'm a skeptic of Katie Taylor. It's that I believe that Katie Taylor she wins on work rate. She has very good, very high work rate. She throws a lot of punches. But I believe this will be her downfall. And we saw it with Natasha Jonas. Natasha Jonas was one round away from winning. I did take Natasha Jonas there. And I believe we were kind of right. She just couldn't pull that trigger in the last round, Jonas. But I think Katie Taylor is here for the taking. Do I believe Jennifer Hahn is the one to do it? I don't think so. That doesn't mean that I myself am not having money on a plus 1,300 Jennifer Hahn. I am, but I don't think she wins. It's plus 1,300 against Katie Taylor, who's proven vulnerable. You always have to smell the underdog in this case. But outside of that, I don't think it's going to happen because Jennifer Hahn has no knockout power either. She's 18-3-1 with only one knockout. She's about Katie Taylor's height, but she has been fighting at lower weight classes for the majority of her career. She's been fighting around 125. She recently moved up. So, Katie Taylor has been fighting at 135 her entire career. So I believe Katie Taylor is going to win this one. Most likely. Again, I will be checking the underdog here. And as I said, I do believe that Katie Taylor is running towards the end of the line. And at 35... a fighter who is dependent on output, who seems very gassed at the end of the fights, I feel this is like a little bit as like a recipe for disaster. Again, this is women's fighting, 10 rounds, 2 minutes a round. That's, of course, going to lend Katie Taylor an advantage because she's able to, again, burn up a lot of her energy in those 2 minutes and not be worried about that last minute, right? I mean, that's one of the benefits. But you actually saw with the Serrano fight where, you really won the 3 minutes. Serrano could have probably put out Mercado last week, but you need the 3-minute rounds. And over here, like I said, yes, Jennifer Hahn is a little bit bigger at 5'6" to Katie Taylor's 5'5". But boxer versus boxer, and Katie Taylor being the Olympic boxer, you always have to go with Katie Taylor. And if it wasn't for her vulnerabilities, age, I wouldn't even put money on Hahn. But because she's looked vulnerable recently, Katie Taylor, and because she's approaching that 35, that, at the wrong side of 35, 35 and up, she's closer to 40 than she is to 30. I think you always have to check something like a plus 1,300 underdog. And again, guys, if you don't know what plus 1,300 underdog means, it means if you bet $100, you win $1,300 or better. Understood? If you have beer money and you bet $10, you win 130. 140 with your payout, but whatever. So that is that. Yeah, guys, like I said, while I believe Katie Taylor will win, I am going to check the box with the underdog, Jennifer Hahn, to win the fight by decision. Now, Oscar Valdez's B sample is positive. The fight with Robson Conceição is in jeopardy. That is not good, guys. That is not good. This means that, Valdez has a bright future. He had one. He still probably has one. But this right here, this double positive test is unfortunately it puts an asterisk over that damn Burchell win. That was so amazing. That's the saddest part about it. That's the saddest part. And man, Fantermine, it's not even like, he's not even getting tested like, it's an amphetamine, it's a stimulant. I mean, yes, of course, it's a performance enhancer, but it's not like, I don't even know how he got caught with this. Why is he taking this? Does he cycle off this? I think we need Derek from moreplates.moredays.com to explain to us why a fighter would be taking this. Again, maybe I'll try to DM him, ask him to do an episode on this for us fight fans. But this is a shame, guys. Like, it's every single question, every single win is always put into question. Every future win is put into question. Even Canelo to this day gets made fun of the clenbuterol. Remember the tainted meat in Mexico? Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Please, please. Tainted meat. The one drug that you need to help you lose weight is found in the meat that you've been eating in Mexico. Come on, my friends. Come on. So, I feel for everybody involved. I want to see this fight. We want to see more of Oscar Valdez. I feel for Burchell, who absolutely now is thinking, like, did I lose fairly? Did this small guy have that much pop and that much energy, because he truly is naturally that good, or because he was on this amphetamine? These kind of stuff, they haunt fighters. They haunt them for a long time. They really do. And I think us fans, I think we deserve better, Like I know people always say, like, oh, they should have, like, an unregulated sport where everyone just takes the crazy drugs. And that's how you get everyone killed. Yes, everyone will take the craziest drugs, and you will see some monsters who then drop dead at 35 by heart attack. We want clean sports. We want to see how... Obviously, everyone has different genetic limits, but we want to see who can best kind of fill that mug, Like, think of genetics as like a mug. Everyone's got a different size mug, so we can hold a different amount of water or beer or whatever. But how much water or beer is in that mug? That's your effort. Obviously, the guy with the half-liter jug, if he fills it up, you're never going to beat him. That's true. You're never going to beat Roy Jones in his prime. It's never going to happen. But if someone has, let's say, both you guys have a pint, but somebody really worked to fill their pint all the way, and that guy's going to win. And same thing, sometimes you do have maybe like a Zab Judah level athlete. Maybe, he's like really up there. Or Jermaine Taylor, right? Maybe those guys could have been, let's say, like, they're not as big as Roy Jones. Let's use that half a liter example. They have half a liter and someone has a pint, but this guy can't even get a quarter of that half liter in because he doesn't train. He doesn't care to. He doesn't have that drive. Can't push through. But somebody out there who only has a pint-sized cup is filling it up day in, day out, sweating at the gym, not eating the donuts, not drinking, not doing any of that. Yeah, this kind of stuff. I want a clean sport for fighters' health. For, kind of fair competition. I don't like cheating like that. Not because cheating is wrong or anything like that, but I always felt like, even on exams, is when you cheat, you kind of like, don't you want to, like in video games, let's say, not even exams, in video games, don't you want to prove to yourself too that you're the best? Like, I love when I win and I won because I'm better. Not because I took something to make me better, but because I trained that way, or I'm naturally better or something. I don't know. Well, guys, look, that's going to do it for us. It's going to be a short episode. I'm a little bit busy this week. And, again, I'm going to watch the fights, and we'll talk about it on a Sunday. His-ho!
I'm going to go home and break my wife's hip.
Don't brag about taking my side piece. Don't brag about taking my side piece, though.
I broke my back. Back is broken. Spinal.
He's strong man, good boy, you know, just